A good day. So let's start. For students to access this lesson, they need to input this code on their devices. So we're looking at law of demand in this lesson. The objectives, the two terms demand and law of demand. So the key terms for this lesson are there the terms demand, law of demand, demand schedule, and ceteris paribus. Right, so let's see for the starter activity, what do you as a student already know about demand? So for this activity, I want students to do some matching. Okay, so the teacher will click the start button. This is from the teacher's viewpoint on the teacher's device. So students must do some matching of images with concepts related to demand. They're given a time allocation, and what the student will see, the instructions, and you'll see some matching activity. So he's got to, for example, um, do this, and if it's correct, and get the tick mark there. So that shows that students already know a great deal about demand. So let's go on to our first task for this lesson is a paragraph that describes demand with some missing words, and I want students to complete the paragraph by filling in the missing words. Okay, so let's wait for this to load. So here we are. What the teacher will see is the students' names appearing there and how many they've got correct in their answers, filling in those missing words. So if we have a look at the answers here, we'll see this paragraph there, and the students had to fill in these missing words. Right, let's move on to our next task where I want students to look at these two terms, notional or ineffective demand and effective demand. I want them to explain those two terms, to make a list of 5 goods or services that each student individually want to buy, to indicate whether it's a notional or an effective demand for them, and then to explain why they've identified those as either notional or effective demand. So here's a website students may want to consult in answering this task. Okay, so again, what the teacher will see, teacher will start the activity. What the students will see these questions. They complete the questions in this space over here. Right. Next, let's have a look at the term ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, a crucial term in economics. I want students to look at this terms by means of a newspaper headline that says falling prices may result in an increase in the demand for electric vehicles. So here we have a table that sets out the electric vehicle sales in China for the year 2016 to projected 2028. So for this activity, I want students to describe only four factors that could affect the demand for electric vehicles. And then in their answering this question, they will discover that there are any number of factors that could affect the demand for a for electric vehicles. So then, question number two, why do economists use this term ceteris paribus? Really, because the environment that they study is so complex. There's so many factors affecting what they want to study, specific concepts. So we have to isolate these maybe two factors only to study them specifically. So we have to use this term, ceteris paribus. Okay, so again, what the teacher will see to start the activity, and what the students will see, the questions, and the students will complete the questions in this space. Right, let's go on to our next activity where we look at law of demand. So here we have a diagram explaining or illustrating the law of demand. And again, I'm asking some questions from students, some basic questions from students, 1, 2, 3, and 4, um, to help them to understanding this concept, law of demand. Again, students complete their answers in this space over here. So this helps them with law of demand, just the understanding of it. So our next task, a higher level task, there the students will have, in the previous activity, they will have discovered that the law of demand is based upon a negative relationship. And so why is there this negative relationship between the price of a product and the demand for a product? And the two reasons for that are the income effect and the substitution effect. Income, that's consumer income, will cause or result in this negative relationship. Also, the substitution effect will result in this negative relationship. Okay, so just to illustrate this negative relationship, um, there's this movement along the demand curve. When the price rises, then the quantity demanded will decrease, and that is known as a contraction. And similarly, prices decrease, then increase in quantity demanded, and that is known as an extension of demand. So this again just helps students understand the law of demand, and that there is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, so again, this is for students to answer this activity. I want them to draw a graph to show contraction and extension. Again, they're given a time allocation. So the students will use this area to draw, okay, to just draw a diagram showing the demand curve, contraction, movement to the left, extension, movement to the right. Okay, so here we come to our last activity where we're looking at a demand schedule. A demand schedule, which is a table that shows pricing and quantity at each individual price for, in this case, hot pot meals. And to help students understand demand schedule, there's a few questions I'm asking them to answer based on this table over here. Question 1, 2, and 3. So they have again a place to answer their questions. Okay, so then to finish this question, there is um, a little game, a game that they play to answer some multiple choice questions to reinforce the concepts of this lesson, the concepts of demand and law of demand. Okay, so the game will start. Um, I'll just select this mode, continue. So in this case, I'm waiting for students to access this game, and once they've done that, the game will start. Okay, so since this is a demo lesson, there are no students to take part in this lessons, but essentially this is just a list of multiple choice questions where students are competing against one another to help reinforce their understanding of the two terms demand and law of demand. Okay, so that is it for this lesson. Thank you very much indeed.